When something goes wrong in your relationship, who do you decide to speak to about it?
Friends, family, group chat, social media?
Because that decision, who you decide to bring into your relationship, will either strengthen the connection or slowly erode it.
So today we're talking about influence and why most couples don't realize just how many people are shaping their relationship behind the scenes. So grab a drink and let's get started. Hello.
Hello again.
Hi there. Hey everyone, we're Jeff and Ellen, relationship coaches, and we help people build relationships where they feel like they're on the same team.
And today we're going to talk about the importance of outside influence and how it can negatively impact your connection.
Yep.
And then we're going to share how we did it in our relationship.
And some of the decisions we made to protect our relationship. So let's talk about what are some of the bad problems? Like what are the downfalls of outsourcing and getting advice?
Before we sort of get into some of the meat and potatoes of what we're talking about, I think it's important to say wanting to talk to people outside your relationship makes a lot of sense. Like it's a natural desire because when I'm upset with you, I want to talk it out. And you think there's a lot of wisdom to that, to say, I want to get advice. I maybe want to get some energy out.
It's good to be influenced in the right way from people, but just who you go to and what you're asking them for, that's where our tale begins.
Right, and what we want to look at is also what is the habit that you have about going to other people? Because before I met you, I had a whole posse of people that were my support group, my friends, and I'm used to talking to them.
Yeah.
And so when we come together, it's important that we actually have to look at what's the habit of who we talk to, and just because they've been our team or in our lives prior to the relationship doesn't necessarily mean they're actually good for our relationship.
Yeah. So what we end up finding with a lot of people who are asking their family members or their friends is that they're going to people who are uneducated. They don't understand how relationships work. And so what ends up happening is they end up propagating the same chain of pain. You know, this is what we do in our family, this is what we do, and it's protecting that nuclear family rather than promoting your new nuclear family together.
Right. If they don't actually understand what health is and they haven't grown up and practiced and lived that, then how will they bring that into their answers or to their support?
It's like the blind leading the blind.
I think the other thing, though, is when we go to the people who are in our circle, they are often biased in our favor. And to be honest, you want them biased in your favor. It's like nice to have people who are on your team. The only thing, though, is biased people don't give you balanced information.
You're just going to hear the things that you're wanting to hear. Yes, that other person is a jerk. Yes, they are wrong. And yes, you should leave them. Right? So you're kind of getting the answer you're looking for, right?
Right. And then
which just builds more teams, more division. Like it's just,
I have my jury who says, my perspective is right.
And I have my jury. And now we're like, ooh, boy, we're building this case. And then it feels like our conflict is now on trial.
Yeah.
Or even if it's not conflict.
And now we've elevated and sort of escalated all the energy because now we're bringing more energy into it in the form of more people.
And even if it's not conflict, like even if it's some of the decisions like, what do we name our baby? Or how do we raise our baby? What schooling or what education? And all that can just be fodder for everyone wants a say.
Yeah.
Everyone wants a say in that. And you have two gangs and it's fighting whose family is coming first. And then the pressure is like, whose back do I have here? Do I pledge allegiance to the family, the grandparents, the aunts and uncles that are all saying, or friends? There's like, come on, we're a team. This is the way it's always been. And then I feel like, if I choose something other than what you said, I may lose that part of my team or
might be rejected.
I might be rejected by the tribe.
Yeah.
And you're feeling the same thing. So it just feels really confusing. Like, God, I have to have one foot on both sides, right? And then it's playing like, oh, I'm placating them to ask them and allow them to have a say, but then you also want to be here. And then I think couples really start having this unnecessary conflict
Yes.
when they're playing on more than one team.
And then you're also changing the perspective of your partner with that group of people that you go to. So in essence, it's bad PR, right? Because I'll go to my friends or family and say, oh my God, you wouldn't believe what Jeff did. Oh, he really pissed me off. And he said this to me and I couldn't believe it. Now remembering that, of course, I see life only through my lens and I have decided he's wrong and it's all his fault. And so that's the language I'm using and that's all that this person is privy to. And they're likely not going to ask you balanced questions. They're going to support you and take you in and go, oh my God, yeah.
What a jerk.
What a jerk. You're absolutely right. You stand your ground. You stand your boundaries. And then what ends up happening is then I would come back to you, let's say, and then we work it out. And then I realize, oh my God, it was me. And I see what I did.
And we solve the problem.
But what we don't do is we don't go back and handle the PR situation we just made and go back to those people and have a conversation that sounds like, so we worked it out. That we might do that part and say, oh yeah, it's all fine, now we worked it out. But they're left with this bad impression of Jeff. If I don't go back and say, actually, we worked it out. He was really amazing when we worked it out. And actually what I realized was I was bringing a lot of the energy. This was my growth edge. I wasn't actually willing to acknowledge it. I was just lashing out, and that's what I came to in that state. He was amazing and handled it. We don't say that.
Yeah, we really can heavily influence how our friends or even family or even coworkers see how our partner shows up or doesn't show up, and that affects, like work get-togethers, like, oh, is she coming? And then you have work colleagues are like, oh, it must be so hard for you to have her here. And then it's creating an unnecessary drama and conflict that doesn't need to be there. But they're holding on to outdated views that they're inaccurate for today's interaction.
And actually, can also be other things that are woven into their responses. They might be jealous. They may want to see you broken up. They may miss their time with you. They may want that friendship back. They may not like that person. You may love the person, but they may not like them. So they may have an ulterior motive or hidden agenda in the information they give you because they're connected to you.
Yeah. Another outside influence is going to exes.
Oh, right. Right.
Going back to an old flame.
Yes.
To stay connected or just have innocent coffee chat. And you start bringing up things. And that's just like, that's a whole other...
The hairs on the back of my arm are already starting to go up. I'm like, oh, yeah.
That's a whole other can of worms. Because what you're doing is you're airing out your dirty laundry between you to someone who really hasn't earned the right to hear this information. You're giving private information to someone that you previously had allegiance to, or had a team, and now you're on this team. And it's like, whose back do you have here?
And then you're blurring lines now, and you're going to create a sense of mistrust in your relationship. And because when you're talking about an ex, you're not talking about just some neutral person, but this person can bring a sense of threat, loyalty, safety. And so the fact that you would, out of all the people to talk to, you're choosing an ex. Is there something you're holding on to? Is this your plan B? Are things not as done as I thought they were?
It starts breeding insecurity and mistrust.
Yeah, like that is some bad relational bacteria. It's starting to get, bred.
So it's be a cautionary tale of how many people you allow to start hearing all the stuff behind the scenes and airing out your dirty laundry.
And then the other thing is if you're going to tell people and you're going to talk to them, are you telling your partner who you're talking to. A lot of times the issue is they hide it. And it's only in conversation. Someone makes a comment and says, oh yeah, I heard about that because they slip up. And you're like, what? You shared like that personal event? I didn't want that shared. Or
that's a breach of trust and a breach of privacy, because we haven't made that decision together. You get to unilaterally, or I get to unilaterally talk to my buddies about something when you're like, but that wasn't an us decision. It just, it ends up just causing more teams and more division.
Yeah, and more anger at each other, more hurt with each other, more distrust. Because especially like if I might have an insecurity, like most of us, we all have insecurities. And as a society, we're not taught to talk about our more vulnerable parts. That is something that's left in the close circle of a couple, like our plus one.
Yeah.
So when I share something with you and I'm vulnerable with you, and then I find out you've gone out of anger to someone else, I don't care who it is.
Just you're starting to talk about that, I'm like feeling like I should be pulling back. Yeah. And also the other impact, it's not just that they may look unfavorably upon you. They may also judge me.
That's
if
true.
all I'm doing, if all the source that I'm doing is just about the negative, the drama that's going out, then the question becomes, why are you with this person? If you keep telling the same story of how horrible this person is there something wrong with you?
That's a really good point.
Like, it seems like a very rational, sane person would leave such a villainous human being.
The dog says, go now.
The dog's even worked up about that. So now let's talk about what we did from the beginning of our relationship and some of the mistakes we did. So what did we do to make sure that you and I were very clear? We are the team. We are the nuclear family.
And maybe we should start by, we came to this because you and I, in the beginning of our relationship, did do that, where we went to people in our respective groups. And when we came back together, thankfully, I know this time around in our lives, we saw the negative impact that it was having. So we decided that we turned to each other first. That was number one. That the first place we go to is each other. That we put more energy and effort into turning toward each other, talking to each other, and learning how to do that.
When there is a decision that needs to be made for us, that we make it first. We talk about it first, and we come up with a decision. And if we need to have outside influence, that you and I decide who we go to. So for our relationship, we picked our therapist together, and it had to be someone that you and I both felt safe with, that we both trusted, that we didn't feel like, I'm going to get ganged up on here, right? I think I'm just going to be in the doghouse, the bad guy, and it didn't feel like it was equitable. So it's important that you pick people that not just have your back, but have the back of the relationship, so that they will be able to say, no, this is not healthy. And apply the ownership to say, that's on you or that's on you when appropriate, so that it's for the betterment of the relationship. So that's really key.
And we should point out, it's really key. You said, we picked our therapist, but whether it's your coach, your therapist, your counselor, whoever it is, you can't assume that they're going to give good advice, even if you think they're supposed to be trained or trained, because there's actually a wide spectrum of approaches to relationship out there, even amongst professionals.
Yeah.
And so we were also selective on who that person was, because we have so many coaches and therapists and things throughout our lives that we've used. And so we even had a conversation, which one and why, and do we feel that they represent health in the world of relationship, that they have the right education.
Yeah, so that's important. We made sure that we closed all the doors to old relationships, tied up loose ends, and said, no more. We don't look backwards. It's us moving forward. Another thing that we did is that we decided that we will respond as a team.
Yes.
So whether it was an invite to a family event or a text messaging that came to me that I could respond to, if it had to do with us in making a decision, that we together as a team make a decision. So for example, are you guys coming for this dinner?
Right.
And that's an invitation for your family that you're not just the spokesperson, that we come together and say, okay, do we want to go? Are we okay with this?
And what is our messaging back? You know, because I could type back and go, oh, I'd love to, but Jeff doesn't want to.
Yeah.
Um,
Thrown under the bus.
So then we get to decide what is our messaging and what are you comfortable saying and what am I comfortable saying, so that we are practiced at coming together on and being a united front.
One of the key sentences that we said that really helped is that whether it was an ask from your side of the family or my side of the family, that we came up with a phrase to say, let me get back to you. I just have to check with my family on that.
Yeah.
And it was key because it was very clearly indicating, this is my family. This is the most important part of my life. You come first now as in my family unit. Mm-hmm. Everyone else on my side and your side are now in-laws.
Yes.
But we are the nuclear family. And to speak about that, say, we will get back to you. I have to talk to my family about that, and then we'll make a decision.
And that we protect this nuclear family. You know, as we grow and develop, we are consciously, wisely protecting it. Mm-hmm. No different than, you know, when a woman is pregnant, she puts all this energy into, or mindfulness into where she exposes her belly. She's not walking into the smoker's den. Mm-hmm. She's not drinking. She's given up a lot of sushi over those 9 months. And I remember that. But you do it lovingly because you know you're growing something really important.
Yeah.
And that's sort of the energy and the attitude you want to take to your relationship.
Yeah, when you're moving from partnership to family, you definitely want to make sure that you're feeling that this is my relationship, this is my family, that I'm also an equal member in society, and you and I together are burgeoning out on our path towards life, that we're not just playing the role of the next carbon copy from the older generation and we just do what's told upon, given to us, that we're just not following advice. It's okay to hear advice, but we're not just automatically say, you bet we are going to live the same way you do, or we're going to deal with conflict the way you do, or we're going to pick this religion or pick these traditions because you have dictated it to be so. Mm-hmm. And because otherwise you're going to end up questioning, whose team am I on? When do I get my voice? When do I get to decide for myself? When do we decide for ourselves as a couple and as a family? Because our decisions are going to influence our children.
Yes.
They eventually will be saying the same thing that we're asking now. Like,
absolutely.
What is us?
Plus, also, the stronger our connection, the better the influence we have on our children. The weaker our connection, we're modeling that for our children, and they grow up in, and their nervous systems develop in that weak connection.
Yeah.
The last thing to consider is, because it's not always convenient and timely to go to your coach or therapist, and you may want to talk to a friend or relative. So one of the things that we did is we asked each other, is there a friend or relative that you feel comfortable for me going to talk to, and who would that be?
Yeah.
And we each picked one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's important because then we get to have veto, that I don't feel overpowered, you don't feel overpowered.
Yes.
And it's not many.
Yeah. I'm not the topic of conversation.
From a group chat.
Yeah, exactly. Looking at all the eyes, watching me as I walk into the next group event.
Yeah.
You know, staring me down.
Here's what we know for sure. You don't need more opinions. You need better ones. Better opinions that you both agree on. Because it's you two that are building the relationship together.
So before you invite just anyone to come sit down at your relational table, have a conversation and decide together who best supports the relationship in the direction you want it to grow in. If you enjoyed this video, hit subscribe and make sure you stay tuned to watch this next video.
Thanks for watching.